Most people think cruising is simple. You pay your fare, you get what's included, and that's it. But that's not actually how cruise ships work, because scattered all over the ship are free perks, free help, and free extras that passengers are allowed to get, but almost nobody ever asks for. Not because they're hidden behind locked doors so much, but because cruise lines quietly rely on the fact that most people don't know to ask in the first place. Some of these are small, some of them can save you real money, and a few of them honestly feel like things cruise lines would rather you never bring up at all. So in this video, I'm breaking down 16 free things cruise lines hope you don't ask for, things smart cruisers already use, and most passengers walk right past without realizing. Let's start with one of the easiest freebies on the entire ship, and it's something a lot of people pay for before they even step on board. Number 1. Free seasickness help from guest services. If you've ever cruised before, you already know how common seasickness is, even on calm days, and even for people who swear they never get motion sick. What most passengers don't realize is that you don't have to come prepared with expensive tablets, wristbands, or remedies you bought before the cruise. If you head to guest services, they usually have free seasickness tablets available, and on many ships they'll also offer motion sickness bands or ginger chews as well. And here's the part cruise lines don't advertise. They'd much rather hand you something early than to deal with a passenger who feels sick for 2 days straight and starts complaining. So if you're feeling even slightly off, or you just want a backup option, don't wait it out and don't panic buy something on board. Just ask, because this is one of the easiest free things on the ship, and a huge number of passengers never realize it exists until it's too late. Number 2. Trivia games with real prizes. A lot of passengers walk straight past trivia, assuming it's just a time filler. Something you do if it's raining, you're bored, or you've already eaten too much. And even if they stop, most people expect the prize to be nothing more than a round of applause or a printed certificate no one really wants. But on many cruise ships, trivia games quietly come with real prizes. We're talking branded merchandise, ship medals, small souvenirs, and on some sailings, even free drinks or drink vouchers handed out to winners. What makes this interesting is that not all trivia sessions are treated the same. Big theme nights, crowded venues, and popular topics usually mean the prize is symbolic at best. Those sessions are designed for atmosphere, not giveaways. But the quieter trivia sessions, especially earlier in the day, on sea days or in less obvious lounges, are where prizes tend to appear. That's because cruise lines use trivia to solve a problem. They need to fill lounges, keep energy up, and spread people out around the ship, without spending real money to do it. So giving away a few small prizes keeps people engaged and coming back, without advertising it loudly or creating expectations. And here's the part most passengers never realize. If attendance is low, your chances of winning go way up. Sometimes you're competing against just a handful of people who happen to walk past at the right time. So if you're already on board anyway, this is one of the easiest ways to walk away with something free. Not by spending money, not by buying a package, but simply by showing up and answering a few questions most people forgot after school. Number 3. Port shopping talks with free coupon books. Port shopping talks sound boring. Most passengers hear the words and immediately think sales pitch, tourist trap, or waste of time. So they keep walking and never look back. But that's exactly why these talks still exist, and why the small group of people who do attend often walk out with free coupon books and giveaways. These talks are run in partnership with shops in the upcoming ports, and those shops are competing for your attention before you even step ashore. The result is stacks of coupons, discounts, and sometimes small free items handed out just for sitting in a chair and listening. And here's the part cruise lines don't explain. The cruise line already got paid for hosting the talk. They don't actually care whether you shop or not after that. So they don't promote these sessions loudly, and they definitely don't advertise what you'll receive for attending. For the shops, the goal is simple: get their name in your hands before you reach the port. For you, that means free discounts waiting in a booklet you didn't pay for. If you were planning to browse jewelry stores, souvenir shops, or local retailers anyway, this is basically free money. And most passengers never realize it, because the phrase port shopping talk sounds like something you should avoid on principle. Number 4, spa raffles that are easy to win. Most passengers walk past the spa assuming one thing: everything inside is expensive, and most of the time that's true. But what almost nobody pays attention to are the spa raffles quietly running in the background. On embarkation day and early sea days, the spa often sets out simple prize draws. You write your name on a card, drop it in a box, and walk away. That's it. And because so many people assume it's just another marketing trick, the number of entries is usually much lower than you'd expect, which means your odds are actually decent. The prizes aren't huge, but they're real. Discounted treatments, free products, bonus spa credits, or small upgrades you'd otherwise pay for. Cruise lines use these raffles as a low-pressure way to get people comfortable stepping into the spa. They're not meant to be a big attraction, so they don't go out of their way to promote them. If they did, everyone would enter. So instead, the raffle box just sits there quietly, and most passengers walk straight past it without realizing what it's for. If you ever see a box sitting on a spa counter with cards next to it, that's not decoration. That's one of the easiest free chances on the ship. Number 5. Art auctions with free champagne. Art auctions on board have a bad reputation, and honestly, that reputation didn't come out of nowhere. A lot of passengers hear art auction and immediately think pressure, awkward sales tactics, or overpriced prints they don't understand, so they avoid the room entirely. But here's what most people don't realize. You don't have to buy anything to attend. You don't even have to stay. Cruise ships often offer free champagne or sparkling wine during art auctions for one simple reason. They need people in the room. A quiet auction looks bad. A full room feels exciting. So the drinks are part of the atmosphere, not a reward for buying art. You can walk in, take a seat, enjoy a glass, listen for a few minutes, and quietly leave whenever you want. No pressure, no obligation. The auction company already paid to be on board, and the drinks are built into their budget. They don't advertise this openly because they don't want the room filled with people who are only there for the champagne. Most passengers avoid these events completely, assuming they're walking into a trap. In reality, they're one of the easiest places on the ship to get a free drink, as long as you understand that attendance does not equal commitment. Number 6. The captain's welcome party free champagne. This one happens early in the cruise, and a surprising number of passengers miss it entirely. The captain's welcome party is one of the few official events where free champagne is openly offered. No drink package, no card swipe, no catch. You show up and you're handed a glass. That's it. The reason this works is timing. The event usually runs for a short window, often early in the evening before most people have settled into the rhythm of the ship. Cruise lines don't push it aggressively because once that window closes, the perk disappears for the rest of the sailing. A lot of passengers skip it because they're still unpacking, exploring, or assuming it's just a formal speech. But for those who attend, it's one of the simplest free perks on the entire ship, and one that quietly rewards passengers who pay attention to the daily schedule instead of scrolling past it. If you hear the words "welcome party" and keep walking, you've probably just walked past a free drink. Number 7. Hidden late-night food stations. Most passengers assume that once the main dining room closes, food service is basically done for the night. And if you're relying on the obvious schedules, it certainly looks that way. But on many ships, that's not actually true. There are late-night food stations that don't get much promotion, sometimes because they're tucked away, sometimes because cruise lines don't want long lines forming. This can mean late-night pizza, soft-serve ice cream, snack counters, or small hot items that quietly appear long after dinner service ends. If you only check the main dining times or the buffet hours, you'll miss them completely. Crew members know exactly where these spots are, but announcements are minimal, signage is subtle, and the details are easy to overlook. So while most of the ship thinks food is finished for the night, a smaller group of passengers is still eating as for free, simply because they know where to look and when to check. It's one of those cruise secrets that feels obvious once you know it, but invisible if you don't. Number 8. Free room service basics most passengers overlook. A lot of people assume room service always means extra charges, delivery fees, or late-night splurges. But on many cruise lines, basic room service items are still completely free. Things like tea, coffee, hot water, plain crackers, or simple breakfast items are often included, especially during certain hours. The reason most passengers don't use this is simple. The menu makes it look more expensive than it actually is, and the free items aren't highlighted. So people just don't bother checking. Cruise lines are fine with that. Fewer orders means fewer staff needed and fewer questions asked. But if you know exactly what to request, you can get simple comforts delivered to your cabin without paying a cent, and without leaving your room. Number 9. Extra cabin comforts, if you ask. Most passengers assume their cabin arrives exactly as it's meant to be, and that anything extra automatically comes with a charge. But that's not always how cruise cabins work. On many ships, cabin stewards have extra comfort items available that aren't placed in every room by default. Things like robes, extra pillows, additional blankets, or even mattress toppers on some sailings. They're not listed anywhere, they're not guaranteed, and they're never advertised. But if you ask politely, especially early in the cruise before supplies are claimed, there's often a good chance your steward can help. Cruise lines don't promote this because availability varies by ship and sailing. If everyone asked at once, there wouldn't be enough to go around. So instead, they quietly rely on the fact that most passengers never ask at all. If a small comfort would make your cabin feel better for the entire week, sometimes it really is as simple as starting a friendly conversation. Number 10. Free cabin decorations decorations for birthdays or anniversaries. If you're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, honeymoon, or milestone cruise, there's a good chance the cruise line already knows. But what most passengers don't realize is that you can often get free cabin decorations without paying for a celebration package. If you tell your cabin steward, or sometimes guest services, they'll often decorate your door or cabin at no charge. Nothing extravagant, but banners, towel art, or small touches that make the cabin feel special when you walk in. Cruise lines sell paid celebration packages, so they don't exactly advertise the free version. But for the crew, it's a small gesture that creates a good experience, and it costs the cruise line very little. The key is timing. Mention it early in the cruise, be polite, and don't make it sound like a demand. It's one of those perks that feels surprisingly personal, even though it was available the whole time. Number 11, free fitness classes on embarkation day. Cruise ships are full of fitness classes that usually come with a price tag. But on embarkation day, and sometimes the first sea day, many ships offer free introductory fitness sessions. These might include yoga, stretch classes, posture workshops, or basic workouts designed to introduce you to the fitness staff. Most passengers miss them completely. They're busy exploring the ship, unpacking, or standing in line for something else, and the class quietly fills without much attention. Cruise lines use these sessions as previews. Once the cruise gets going, the same classes often become paid events. But if you check the daily schedule early and attend the intro session, you get the class without the fee and without any obligation to sign up afterward. It's a small window that closes quickly. Once it's gone, and most passengers don't even realize it existed. Number 12, free ship tours and enrichment talks on sea days. Sea days aren't just about pools, loungers, and wandering around trying to kill time. They're also when cruise ships quietly offer some of the most interesting free experiences on board. Experiences most passengers never attend, simply because they don't realize they're open to everyone. On many sailings, sea days include free ship tours and enrichment talks, things like bridge talks, galley tours, behind-the-scenes explanations, or guest lectures about destinations, navigation, or what life at sea is really like. These events aren't flashy. They're usually listed quietly in the daily schedule, often in small text, sometimes with limited sign-up windows. And that's intentional. Space is limited, and once these events fill up, that's it. So cruise lines don't promote them loudly, and they don't explain how valuable they actually are. Most passengers scroll past them without a second thought, assuming they're either boring or restricted. But if you show up early or sign up when you see one listed, you can end up learning how the ship is navigated, how food service really works behind the scenes, or how the crew lives day to day. It's not a souvenir you can take home in your suitcase, but it is something most passengers never experience at all. And once you attend one, you start realizing how many quiet, unadvertised opportunities exist on sea days, if you know where to look. Number 13, free souvenirs from onboard games and challenges. Not all souvenirs on a cruise come from the gift shop. Throughout the sailing, cruise staff run small games, contests, and challenges, and many of them come with free keepsakes that most passengers don't even realize are available. Things like ship pins, medals, certificates, trophies, or branded items you can only get by participating. The problem is, these events don't feel like prize events. Most passengers assume the reward is applause, a laugh, or maybe a mention from the host, and nothing more. So when the activity ends, a lot of people clap, smile, and walk away, leaving the actual souvenirs sitting there, unclaimed. Cruise lines love these activities because they build atmosphere and energy without costing much. They don't make a big deal about the prizes because they don't need to. The event already did its job. But if you pay attention, ask the host, or simply stay until the very end, you'll often see free items being handed out. Sometimes to just a handful of people. It's one of the easiest ways to take something home from a cruise that you didn't pay for, and something most passengers never even realized they missed. Number 14, loyalty cocktail hours you can ask to attend. Loyalty cocktail hours sound like they're strictly for frequent cruisers, and officially they are. But what most passengers don't realize is that on some sailings, these events aren't full, and staff have more flexibility than you'd expect, especially on quieter sailings, longer itineraries, or ships with fewer top-tier loyalty guests. If you're a first-time cruiser, close to a loyalty tier, celebrating something special, or simply ask politely at guest services, you may be allowed to attend. Not always, not guaranteed, but it happens far more often than cruise lines want people to assume. They don't advertise this for one simple reason. If everyone asked, the lounge would be packed, but if there's room, they'd rather fill the space than leave it half empty. For the passengers who do get in, it usually means free drinks, smaller crowds, quieter lounges, and a much more relaxed atmosphere than the rest of the ship. It's one of those moments where asking nicely can turn into a perk most passengers assume is completely off limits, simply because no one ever told them otherwise. Number 15. Casino free drinks without heavy gambling. A lot of passengers assume casino drinks are only free if you're spending serious money. Big bets, long sessions, high roller status. But on many cruise ships, that's not actually how it works. If you're seated at a machine or table, and especially during slower hours, servers will often bring free drinks even if you're playing small amounts. You don't have to be winning. You don't have to be betting big, you just have to be present and participating. Cruise lines want the casino to feel active. Empty seats don't look good, and quiet casinos don't encourage spending. So complimentary drinks are used to keep people sitting, playing, and relaxed, even if the play is minimal. They don't explain this clearly because the rules vary by ship, by sailing, and even by time of day. But the result is the same. Some passengers pay full price for drinks just outside the casino, while others are quietly being served for free just a few steps away. And most people never realize the difference. Number 16. Kids club events adults can sometimes join. Most passengers assume kids clubs are completely off limits to adults. Drop off only, no exceptions. But on many ships, that's not entirely true. There are family-focused kids club events that adults are allowed to attend, especially during open house hours, family game times, or special themed activities. Things like craft sessions, interactive shows, family trivia, or relaxed events designed to involve parents, grandparents, or guardians. Because these events are listed under the kids' schedule, a lot of adults never even consider them. They assume it's not for them and move on. Cruise lines don't promote this openly because the primary focus is still children. But if you check the daily planner carefully, you'll sometimes find activities that are free, low pressure, and surprisingly enjoyable, even if you don't have kids traveling with you. And it's a perfect way to end this list, because some of the best free perks on a cruise aren't hidden behind doors or secret rules. They're just listed in places most people never think to look. Before you go, there's one more video you shouldn't miss. If you think cruise secrets stop at free perks, they don't. Cabins are where most of the real mistakes happen. Noise issues, storage problems, comfort mistakes, and things that can quietly ruin a cruise if you don't know them in advance. The video on screen right now breaks down 99 cruise cabin tips, secrets, and things to know in 2026. From choosing the right cabin, to avoiding common cabin traps, to small tricks that make your room way more comfortable. It's the kind of stuff people usually learn after their first bad cruise, but you can know it before you even step on board. So if you want your next cruise to be smoother, quieter, and way less stressful, watch that one next.